morning, guys. Welcome to an incredible week. It's a new week and it's Catch Up Monday on Jasiri. We're excited to bring you up to speed on what went down during the weekend, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Hey, we are not alone today. There's a new presence. We have to make welcome. Lola, when when you're doing MC and you're not even talking to blessings, I'm not Lola because Lola is the erudite. You know when you have those, it's like the likes of Auntie Bimbo. Mm-hmm. When you have those erudite.
That's how they refer to me in my old age.
You will say, we have the erudite, the inimitable, the presence of the inimitable VIP, guests of honor,
a woman of substance, a woman
of timber and caliber.
Exactly. Yes. And our producer is with us
would have
today.
ended before we. I'm telling you.
But did you all notice?
Let's start with her presence.
Did you all notice our producer was actually sitting crossing leg like, wait, introduce me. I'm ready.
Good morning.
I love it when she's here.
Yeah.
Why?
You cannot shout at us no more. You are part of it.
Are you
shouting?
sure?
Well,
It definitely hits
from a closer range.
It definitely hits different though when you're in front of the camera and you get into the gist of the story, and it's difficult to just cut off and just.
Exactly. So
I get it. But at the end of the day,
you
look at time.
She's talking over her. See? She did not let her
I'm
land.
looking forward to Bookie talking. I'll be like, Bookie, we gotta go.
Do you know that when I heard her say, Bookie, we gotta go, in our own time, they put auntie.
No, because of the fact that
Auntie Bookie in the workplace. Auntie Lolo. Why you there when they were
Producer, director really helps because there's no auntie, there's no name. You're just in the middle.
So you are happy that you are in a disrespectful space. That it professionally were not to do it. So you really chewed on it. Bookie. You can't even say,
Producer, handle this. Handle this.
Lolo, how was your weekend?
Get her before I do.
I had an extremely busy weekend. My other stuff, we had the lunch party, was the radio station I'm managing.
Oh, you were interacting with kids.
All
so for
through.
you, Children's Day came early.
My sister.
Actually.
He's still coming late. He's still coming today.
In fact, I think you said you had more than 2,000.
Oh yes, we had more than 2,000 kids yesterday. It was
That's
amazing.
children's conference.
That's children's conference.
But you know, one of the things that was the highlight for me is the ease at which children just live life. Do you know that the kinks and the icks that we have as adults, they don't even care. They were just playing games, interacting. It's only adults I see doing like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
When the mommy
Carry
said this,
face.
Yeah.
and the children were so happy to mingle with another child, but the mother said, sorry. You know, Ikoyi kids in Surulere. You see the Ikoyi mommy doing like,
it really looks like they
do they
had
have
a
to
lot
do
of
it
fun.
together? Do they have to be in the same balloon space?
Oh my goodness. On that note, I think we should say Happy Children's Day.
Yes.
Happy Children's Day to
Happy
all the
Children's
children.
Day to all
Happy
the
Children's Day
children.
too to Lolo because she's like the biggest. She's a child at heart.
The biggest baby.
And we love it. We love it. She's the biggest baby on this table. Not even blessings.
She is.
Thank you. And nobody bought me biscuits. Sweet.
Don't worry, I will. Okay, Lola gave me toothpaste for Children's Day.
I
I'll
said
look
she
for
should
some.
brush her teeth because her teeth is smelling.
You've never even met. Anyways, speaking of Children's Day, there's no better time to be a child in Nigeria than now. I mean, you don't get to worry about the economy, the instability. You just eat and sleep. Although you notice fewer meat and less eggs.
Yeah.
But anyways, to all the children out there, happy Children's Day. And to the adults, Children's Day is a day to reminisce about the good old days, which we will be doing right here on Jasiri. We know that there's no Jasiri without random questions,
Here
right?
it comes.
So the first question is, what's one thing that you used to love doing as a child that you wish you could still do now?
Should I build the cat? I want to play kitchen outside. You know, when I was growing up, my mom used to use those tin tomato paste. They will now open it. Then you bring the tin tomato paste. Then we use leaf and water to do the stew.
Yes.
We'll do vegetable soup.
Yes.
Then we'll do rice.
And you'll be talking like...
Yes, so you'll be eating. So bring the vegetable.
Bring me the spoon.
And it's usually 2 or 3 people
With
that
fake
are...
language. I don't know
Well,
why.
in Nigeria it was you know, tin tomato and cooking vegetable with green leaf on, on the grass.
Then
in other countries, it was tea parties they were having.
Yeah,
they were having tea parties.
We didn't have my tea party. We had our vegetable soup party. And we'll use, you know, we'll simulate everything.
Vegetable soup party?
Yes.
Yes,
and we'll create our own language.
Yeah,
Let's
our own language.
Yeah, because our parents used to speak the language and we were not fluent. We needed to be fluent in something. So
how did that work for you?
And then you know the worst part.
And somehow they were communicating even with that fake language.
As hard as it was, like when you speak and I speak, last if I don't understand, like, what did you say? I said, bring the plate. Okay.
Oh, but it was so awesome. Honestly, we would even steal something from our mother's dustbin because we know she had discarded it. Maybe one old beans. Oh God, the things
one
we
tin
did.
tomato that is still tomato.
Yes, and it's smelling and black, and we still say, we have done it. We use broom to touch our spoon
or the branch
or the broken of.
And then after all the stress of cooking, you can't eat it. So you're
but we still
like,
oh, the chicken! Oh my God! How did you make the sound of eating? You even make the sound of eating. Oh, God.
So for me, I think one of the 2 things. One for me is being able to just play in the rain, go out and play in the rain.
I was gonna say that, but I still do that.
I love that.
No, you can still do that today.
I'm not doing it today, no, because I don't want to catch cold.
You don't understand.
Wow.
For me, it was being able to just run out as the Lord made you. In the rain, as the dear Lord
your
made
bathing
you.
suit.
Listen, without any cares, there was just this glee.
And joy.
And you know, I've always been mischievous. There was just this glee. You just go in the rain and jump. You're not doing anything for that. You're just jumping. You're just doing. Oh my God, it was such.
I think another thing I miss is jumping into puddles. It used to make my mother mad because when we come back, she will now wash your legs, then they will now have to use spirit to clean in between your toes. Do you remember that thing that used to make the middle of your toes open?
Yes.
Then they will now be putting menthol.
Yes,
I
do.
Well,
Is it
we used to call it pacha. I'm sure a lot of Yoruba parents will relate. Pacha. My mom will first use spirit to clean your leg. Then she now rub maybe mental and
I won't lie, right? I think for me, it's more about what I miss the most is the excitement, not even the activity. I think it's more about the excitement. Like, I remember then that meat pie and ice cream used to be so fascinating to me. Like, I just want meat pie and ice cream. Can you just take me to go and just meat pie and that combination? Meat pie and ice cream. I'm telling you, do you know my first salary? I sat down. I think I 4 meat pies.
This girl.
4 scoops of ice cream. I finished. I didn't even finish it. I'm like, I've conquered you.
Yeah.
Until the next. You have no idea the excitement. And then I used to look forward to having to wear new clothes, right? I didn't look forward to them buying it. I didn't care about the buying, just having to wear. But now, if I'm looking forward to a new clothes, it's going to tell in my account. The excitement is not there. It's that excitement that I miss.
That's adulting.
There's definitely a lot of things to reminisce about growing up. There's a question here about how we were raised growing up. And one of the key things for me when we were growing up was family time. We did not. Family time was not compromised. Especially during the holidays. My cousins will come from the north. My dad's brother's kids, my mother on my father's side will come from their house in Isolo. Like, it used to be such a big thing for us when we were growing up as kids.
On phones.
They were not dependent on phones. We'll be hanging out. We'll be playing. We'll be
having conversations, creating films. Like, it was such a and again I come from a very creative family, so the creative juices were always flowing. During those times, it's something that I miss because
you look at your life now and you see how life has lifed you, right? You are so busy with work, you're trying to get your life together, you're paying your bills and all that kind of stuff. And everybody is in their own phases of life, their own journey. And it's like, you know, where did this go?
But you know,
that's what I miss. One of the things I miss
even
about
the thing
being a
that
kid.
Buki was reminiscing about, I had my own variation of it, but we used to go visit my affluent auntie that we used to consider affluent. You know, the holiday, we go to a house, it was always food, and food. But you know now, before I would ever do that for my kids, you second guess yourself half the time. Because nobody really wants to entrust their children to another. Then we could actually, you know, but even at that time, a lot of people were actually molested in those times. But we didn't really have it's not as loud as it is now. I won't lie to you. I hardly would send my children to any in-laws, any brother or sister's house.
To be honest, I think that then during the festivities, the food was nice, but the process of preparing the food was more exciting because then we'd be in the kitchen. Because I have 6 siblings and 4 sisters, so all of my sisters are in the kitchen. They're singing hymnals because we have the Anglican background thing, so we're singing hymns, and then you join in with different parts. It was just so melodious. Even our neighbors are like, "Well done, oh yeah, let's sing it." It was just so beautiful. These songs I didn't know, we dance ballet, you know, we just danced. And the worst part is they're insulting you. Go and bring this, go and you're working hard, bro. I just want to be there.
I was on fish duty. They know that I loved the fish we used to call, we call Titus now, was what we used to make moi moi. So when they give you fish duty, it's your own duty to piece out the fish and remove all the bones and of course eat out the scraps.
Mine was to do the dishes and then take the either beans or pepper to go and grind. But they banned me from doing that because I eat raw onions and then raw tomatoes. So when they give me beans to grind, I come back and it's looking plain white. And then my mom is like, "There's no tomato in this thing, there's no onions in this thing." And
so
like,
you would eat all the tomatoes?
Speaking of, what's your favorite, if you have one, nursery rhyme?
I've been trying to remember. There's one that's stuck in my...
The one I have, it says
I'm going to sing one,
no, it's not
but
even
I don't think it's my
me.
favorite. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown and Jill came tumbling after. Jill came down and
That's the only thing I know.
There were so many, but you know,
there's one about a bird.
Oh, MacDonald.
Fly away. Peter and Paul. Peter. Is it Peter and Paul?
One named Peter, one named Paul. Fly away, Peter. Fly away, Paul. Come back, Peter. Come back, Paul. I don't even remember how we ended. Old Roger is dead and gone to his grave. Ooh, ha, gone to his grave. They planted an apple tree over his head. Ooh, ha, over his head. The apple grew ripe and ready to drop. Ooh, ah, ready to drop. There came an old man who picked it all up.
But there were so many of those nursery rhymes growing up that they were horror stories.
One man that
died
and buried at something.
And then we'll sing it. We just keep singing.
Old Roger is dead and ready.
See how they run, see how they run. They all know the farmer's wife. Because of the table, the carving life. I'm here for such a thing in life as 3 blind mice.
Which is funny. I don't remember any of it. It is fun. Oh man, see the mind.
How about the old woman that lived in a shoe?
The old.
In a shoe?
That's what I'm saying. Horror story.
Yeah.
Horror story.
But at that point, because it broke out in song, we didn't really, it took away the...
You did
I
not
think that was
realize
a creative way of telling children horror stories. Because you won't realize it's horror. You're singing it and there's someone...
And they'll draw the old man with a crooked nose and
but those things gave you nightmares,
yeah,
no?
and the wart on the nose. They used to love that wart on the nose.
I think the rhymes I remember are from... No, not even here. No, in Cameroon. It's all French rhymes. I remember that some I can't even finish singing. J'ai frappé à ta porte. J'ai frappé à ta porte. Pourquoi?
Catapult. Hey.
Anyway, we will be going on a break right now before these girls. I have to feed them sandwiches. About that, but before we go, we have something we need to do. We have an amazing giveaway for our viewers today. Yes. These gorgeous lush packages are up for grabs again.
Again.
Because some people did get the last time. And all you have to do to
A
win,
balanced mind.
yes, is to follow Lush on
there a winner for
Instagram,
balancing?
follow News Central TV, and on Instagram and Twitter. Drop a comment on the first snippet of today's show post. That will be posted later on Instagram. The only thing we're asking is, why do you love Jasiri? And tell us why you deserve to win this beautiful Lush hair goodies. And I've been told that there's something inside here. One is 10K. So we are giving you a lot.
You had to say that.
If this has economic weather.
like a Lush model.
Wow. So please go on Instagram, follow Lush, follow News Central TV, hashtag Jasiri. Tell us what you love about Jasiri.
Yep.
And you might be one of the lucky
Winners. In the meantime,
While we're doing that, let's give you more things to love about the show. So we'll take a break now. Jasiri continues with Catch Up Monday after this.
Welcome back. We are streaming live on all social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. Use the hashtag Jasiri to be part of the conversation. Our very first story on Catch Up Monday focuses on the economy of our beloved country, Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu has expressed optimism that Nigeria will overcome its current challenges and not bleed to death. He acknowledged the country's difficulties, but emphasized his administration's efforts to address insecurity, economic growth, and social development.
It's worth it.
I like the way they put it. He said Nigeria will bleed to death. I had to check my bleeding leg.
No, he's in menopause.
So, the one where he said, not verbatim though, I'm just paraphrasing, that when his administration came into power, you know, the country stopped something, it stopped bleeding or something like that. And I'm wondering, I feel like it's time that will tell whether they're healing the wound or just putting a Band-Aid. And when the Band-Aid comes off, it's going to be a gush of blood. Because I feel like they think that they're managing the situation.
Yes.
But we know what the truth is.
Yes. That's what I meant.
well, they are managing the situation, and
They're trying
that's
to.
what you do. It's like it kind of feels like we're in a hospice. It feels like we're in a hospice, and all they're just doing is just pain management.
No, maybe you guys don't know it. Do you know diabetic ulcer? A diabetic ulcer doesn't heal on time. Yeah. So you just keep medicating, keep treating it, but the hole is not going away until they amputate your leg. That's what it's like for us Nigerians. But everybody keeps telling you.
But can we really?
I don't think. Nope.
No, but playing the devil's advocate, right? One can argue that it gets worse before it gets better.
It gets better.
There are things that the past administration.
Hasn't it got no?
It has gotten worse. That's the thing. So maybe after the war, knowing it gets worse.
The storm is over.
It now gets because
the storm is just starting.
Because the truth is, before you can salvage the situation, they would argue that the previous administrations had done a lot of damage, to the economy, to the country, and then there are a lot of things to be done, a lot of things that, brutal measures.
Do you know that we have
that have to be, but there's a possibility.
And over again. It's always blamed on the outgoing administration, the administrations that have gone, their forefathers. Let's put it as their forefathers. I was looking at it and said, do you know it's almost 20 years, if not more, or it's getting there, that Goodluck Jonathan, former President Goodluck Jonathan, was president. See how time flies. In that space of time, between then and now, how have things improved? So I'm saying that there's that blame game that keeps going on. Oh, we blame it on. No. The truth is that Nigeria is not healing. The diabetic ulcer is diabetic.
We're just, the thing is,
going around in circles.
Leaders. We have been recycling leaders. It's the same mindset that has been recycled from one administration to another. We have policies. We're supposed to have a constitution. I don't know if it really works.
Yeah.
I don't know. it's difficult to actually wake up on any one day and say, this is, I know my rights.
Yeah.
Do you know,
And be able to stand on that right.
You see.
No, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
it's just one aspect, right?
Yeah.
I know my rights, and I can stand on this right.
I just think that
Because every day you wake up, something different.
now, men,
happens.
you see,
You know,
as intelligent as we are as a people, we shine anywhere we go to. In the West, anywhere we go, within Africa, even here at home. As intelligent as we are as a people, as sterling as we can be when we choose when we choose where we want to go in terms of our direction. How can we be so gullible and so? It is such. My God, General.
So I'm going to say
I will
that.
just keep.
I'm going to say that.
Everybody did for sit down.
We can also say that we see the attempt, right, at an improvement. Like, okay, the health sector, for example, when Ali Pate was appointed, I read through his history, I'm like, okay, I don't know about the past, right? I can't speak much to that, but at least this time there was a careful look at the person, you know, okay, fine, this person has a good history, has a good background, and it seems like he knows what he's doing. It's no longer a thing of, I know somebody, you know. So someone is in power. And since he came into power, he said some things, you know, tried to make some reforms that looks promising. Right, to be honest. There's also, okay, speaking of the sector of the economy, the whole CBN reshuffle, I can't speak much to that, but if we look at some of these measures, we can see that there is a good enough attempt, right? I would say the implementation is still questionable.
But
That's where we have to come to.
Every
The
time we
implementation
talk
is still
about
questionable.
things in Nigeria, nothing really changes, as far as I'm concerned. The
But
same,
what if
the
it's-
same thing that we're talking about almost 20 years ago are still the same issues. I don't even mind if we're having newer problems. Electricity challenges.
It's not a
It's
new
not
problem.
different from what we've ever had. And the challenge I'm having again is that these are not novel things that nobody has ever done anywhere in the world. Even if you don't have the wisdom to do something, you can regurgitate, you can copy what has been done in other climes.
Yeah, but
just like we
that-
copied the constitution of the British. We didn't have to sit down to formulate our own. We just keep,
Copy and
you know,
paste.
putting a little bit of amendment here
Look
and
at
there.
where we are. If
So-
grown individuals are sitting down and deciding that our anthem, that is our priority for now. that
So
let's go
there's
back
still
to-
there's still that, right? There's
bedrock.
still, let's not lie, there's still misplaced priority. But my question is, what if things are actually changing? Because this same administration has realized the need to pump up the budgetary allocation to the education sector, and that has been done. Now we're also seeing that there's a 60,000, 100,000, you know, minimum wage from the 30,000. If
It's still in contest. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm saying like they're fighting it. If they can, you know, do that. I'm seeing little changes here and there, right?
Wow,
Let's be honest.
little changes
That's what I'm
like
saying.
one
Honest.
grain of sand make an ocean. Is that the kind of
No, but
but a drop of water.
We've had this conversation.
Consistently.
We've had this conversation kind of somewhat before,
Yeah.
where we're talking about, can you, because I mean, this is 1 year, it's going to be
Yeah,
1 year
no,
on
it's
Wednesday.
already 1 year, almost.
Oh, yes, it's going to be 1 year on Wednesday that, you know, Tinubu came into your office, and, you know, you have questions like, I mean, when you hear a statement like Nigeria is no longer bleeding, we have stopped bleeding.
So that's
And then you look at
that's
insecurity.
an overly confident statement
And
that
then you
should have
look
been
at
made.
poverty.
That shouldn't have been
And maybe
made.
they are not
There's-
telling
there's
our president the truth. He believes he has appointed people in key roles and to do key things. So he probably believes that maybe they are functioning. Maybe
don't
the
believe
people,
nothing. The
they
president
have at
knows
least
what's happening.
blocked it so that the bleeding will stop.
The president knows.
Then
I
we
feel
now
like that's
work on the
that's
healing.
a statement that should not have been made, right?
Um,
It's an overly confident statement.
So we'll just take one reaction quickly, and then we'll go to a quick break.
Yeah.
And this is from Primate Ayodele, who he responded to Tinubu's statement, President Tinubu's statement, saying that Nigeria is still bleeding due to various issues like insecurity, poverty, and corruption. And he also emphasized the need for genuine leadership and divine, Catherine, this is your spot,
Yes,
divine intervention to
intervention,
address the
spiritual.
country's problem. And, you know, even Obasanjo himself has criticized Tinubu recently mishandling critical policies. He talked about implementation as one of the things that he said that the policies have not been implemented right, or even maybe at the right time. But you also have to ask, like, when is the right time? When is the right time to try to make things
Okay,
better.
do you remember when they used to say Project 2022?
Towards 2020.
Towards 2020. Project
We even had a show
2015.
on the radio. Towards
You know, towards
2020.
honestly,
And then it seemed, and then when
Nigeria is just a company that our president
company.
has a country that lives on hope. They feed us hope, but they keep pushing the hope into the future. If you have been following, if my father should get up now, he had hope maybe 1999, 1990. But now we're still having the same projection. It never changes. The only thing that pushes us forward is the year.
Yeah. All right, we go on a short break now. The conversation is far from over, but when we come back, we're still looking into the governance, but when we come back, we'll take a look at another story, so stay with us.
It feels da-da-da-da.
Welcome back to Jasiri. We are live on News Central TV. Make sure you use the hashtag Jasiri to know that, so that we know you're part of the conversation. Join us, tell us what you think, share your thoughts, you know, whatever comes to mind.
Look at this
Look, guys, we're talking about President Tinubu hitting close to 1 year in office, saying that Nigeria is no longer bleeding. And we also mentioned that the former President Obasanjo criticized Tinubu recently. So I just wanted to highlight some of the things that he said. He's talking about the removal of fuel subsidy, which was, you know, the first major craziness that we experienced when he got into office. And then the foreign exchange unification came, which really hasn't unified anything at all. He also mentioned about the poor implementation that has deterred Nigeria's economy and investors. We've seen that consistently. And then he's also called for a shift from transactional to transformational leadership to restore confidence and attract investors.
You know, I can hear Nigerians say this, like, okay, so all these big nations speaking, why didn't he do it in his time? You know, we are very like that. We are very counter. We come in hot. So all this, it's not as if we're supporting what the president's actions, where the president's actions have taken us as a people. But the fact that the former president is putting mouth now.
But do you know that,
Baba, in your time, why didn't you do this thing to ensure that?
But we're going to get a retort.
So the present administration blames the past administration. The past administration as a representative also comes back to the future and blames the future.
No, that's what I'm saying. Even the current administration is still going to have a retort to that.
They will even blame the future.
In your time, Nigeria retrogressed by 55%. And now argue back and forth. Journalists will now, people like us will sit on tables and will, you know, will decipher the use of words. Why did he use transformational and not transactional?
We seem to hammer a lot about foreign direct investment, international partnership, support. I remember when our Big Daddy got into power, he attended summit upon summit over summit on foreign direct investment. I'm like, what are we offering? There was one that even, was it the Arab Emirates, UAE? I don't know. There was a partnership that was, you know, tending towards the visa-free.
That we thought at that time and said,
it's a lie. That did not say that. I'm like, okay, so if that's the case, what do we have that we've worked on, that we're exchanging? Do they think that it's just once a new administration, my gift to you is more money and support?
I really think that
it's always very nice to you know, be on to hold the microphone or be behind the pulpit and just talk as it suits you.
And just read.
As it suits you, just read.
But do you know who I think is really helping this economy? SMEs. I know it sounds small to many people,
like the name
but
implies.
I know for a fact, and I'm sure research will back it up and data, that a lot of small-scale, medium-scale businesses are really
the backbone of the economy.
As I'm talking, I have a couple of people I follow. She's in China now. This is about the third time that she's bringing cheaper underwear for women to be able to access and buy. And we're wondering that these are the places where we should be looking at to inject more life, because if they are doing it with what they have in this little capacity,
and they'll be paying
imagine if
what
they
exchange will they be paying at cost?
pay it. Right. If you imagine you can scale for us a successful small micro business, you scale it up to maybe medium, then you are able to scale medium businesses to larger enterprises. Do you know we're really going to be expanding this nation beyond our?
That's right.
And we will now stop depending solely on export. on importation.
It's
They keep saying agriculture will lead us to the next generation. I traveled to Ibadan recently, and I still saw plenty of just laying fallow. You know, when we travel, we just see those roadside things as something fun to look at. How many we need more farms. We need more people to do agriculture. Look at the food shortage we're going through. Did we not talk about one family that said they died because they ate something in a village? And you're wondering that, where are our priorities? We know that all this transformational and transactional is nice to speak about. But when it gets to the nitty-gritty, when the people of the country cannot feel your governance, cannot feel any sort of ease, we are not succeeding. They are bleeding. Maybe our president is looking at the bleeding from the elites bleeding that they were able to show up.
Colorblind, I don't know.
Or something.
Like water.
Maybe all the elites went to tell you, Baba, this is not really paining me. But how about the farmers in the farms? How about those in the north that is suffering massive insecurity? Part of this insecurity is what is causing shortages of food. They can't go to their farms, they can feed their children, they can send their children to school. Everybody is hungry. And yet, we're still using big English.
Yeah.
Even the transformational and transactional, how many people can understand it?
We are still talking. We're still
Because
talking
they're not talking to them.
Because they are not talking to them.
We're taking.
But they are considering a lot of things. You know, they are busy. Honestly, if you do not acknowledge how busy our National Assembly is, do you know how very important it is to change our national anthem? It's something topical.
What are you
it's
talking
part
about?
of the things that are ruining the country
The
because
government is
words are powerful.
Yes. The government is busy.
Are you kidding
It's so
me?
busy, so that in our next story, Buki will tell us
So
the next level of
to be honest
busyness.
with you, there's so much to talk about, but there's something that I think, you know, because I want us to talk about it. As heavy as it is for a Monday, it's heavy because, you know, it's so easy to be disenfranchised and to be dissociated from something that is not at your doorstep. But the moment it hits closer to home, you know,
there's a new level of
realization for it. And until we begin to see things that affect my brother or my sister in another state, in another city, until we begin to see it as it affects me as well, you know, the change that we're looking for, we will not see it on time. But because it's such a heavy story, you know, it's sad. Yeah. It's sad. And if you saw anything at all on the news between yesterday or day before yesterday and today, I'm talking about the Ajayi Crowther jungle justice in Ajayi Crowther University. And it hits close to home because Lolo.
Honestly, this is it's very disheartening. We'll take the story in just a moment.
So
my hands are shaking, honestly.
It was reported on on Saturday, May the 5th.
That's a 200 level.
Anyway, let me just paraphrase it because it's a very heavy story for all of us to take. I just saw the video and I would not lie, I am close to tears. They say Saturday, May 5th, 2024, a 200 level student of Ajayi Crowther University, Oyo State, identified as Alex Timileyin, was allegedly beaten to death by a group of students for allegedly stealing a mobile phone. We have a video of it. I don't know if we're able to take
the video is quite
the video.
The video is gruesome and it's disturbing. So I don't think we will be able to. But I'm sure if you're watching, you've already seen the video because the video is it's all over.
It's
May 25th. Sorry, it was just on Saturday.
I was wondering why there was.
Yes, it's 25th that it happened. So a source within the school premises revealed that the boy was beaten from 6 p.m. on Friday, the evening before, up until he died at 10 a.m. the following morning after he was allegedly caught with a stolen phone. Now, remember, it wasn't that too long ago that we referenced again Alu 4 situation, and this just feels like it's hard hitting.
I saw the video and I saw them beating the child with a whip, like a double like cane, you know, that
Was it?
that one that has 3 mouths, you know,
So-
that when you whip one, it wipes you like
So
3
higher
times.
level students were the ones beaten.
I hear the child is in, the young man, the diseased boy is in year 2. And you know, I've heard allegedly a student was raped there too some weeks ago.
This is viewers' discretion advised,
Advised.
please. Viewers' discretion advised.
I
don't even want to hear the sounds.
honestly, I don't even want to imagine
The
how
management
child,
of Ajayi Crowther has said that has expelled the students involved in the death of their fellow students. And they said they've also handed them over to the detectives in Oyo State Police Command for investigation. This was revealed by the spokesperson for the school, Femi Atoyebi, on Saturday as well.
Wow.
Not that long ago, we also took a story about some students in China, right?
Yes.
That 2
Earlier
students also
on.
that were actually sentenced to death
Yes.
for bullying
Yeah.
killing
and killing
burying.
and killing another student. I think they were about 14 years old or
Yes.
something funny like that.
Yes.
Look, until we begin to have some really drastic measures and punishment for this.
It is not
For
even
me,
healthy.
what it does, what this says to me is, it just shows how much of a degradation we have of society,
See.
and the fact that there is no humanity.
Buki, there is too much violence seen. Let us just put this thing out there. You all say that we learn by imbibing. There are many trainings we give our children. They just watch you. Half of our children spend time playing violent games.
I won't even
Games
lie.
that I'm not even talking about combat. I mean games like boxing, that when you box the character, the eye will fly off and blood will splash. These visuals,
And
all these kinds
that-
of
those
things,
visuals,
it sits in your
addition
subconscious.
to what it is, whether we like it or not, what they see around them in
Yes.
their environment, what is condonable also. Now, this university, I'm wondering, where did this take place that there were no university staff on
Staff?
ground to even say, okay, what's going on? You would have heard the sounds. You cannot, I mean, it just,
In a hostel, but it's,
I think that was a
it's not-
bathroom.
It's not different from what happened at Alufo,
was gonna
because
say
we are such an enraged society.
Yeah.
The rage is just bubbling under the surface.
So I remember,
And any slight excuse,
Yeah.
right? Any slight excuse to be able to express that aggressiveness, because who else are you going to take it out on? You cannot go and beat your lecturer for not giving you papers to write your exam in the class. You cannot go and beat your vice chancellor. You cannot go and, there's so many, there's so many things you cannot do because the levels of authority have blocked you from doing them.
This
And
same
so-
school, allegedly, some weeks ago, there was an alleged story that broke out that a young girl was raped. You know how
In the
this
same
is very
university.
close to home for me. So I had to find out. I went to the school. I went to do TEDx there just weeks ago. And I was trying to find out about the story of the girl. But because I couldn't get involved, because I'm not the girl's parents, I made some inquiries and I'm told she's like an orphan being raised by her grandmother. And but at least I'm very happy that the school is taking steps. All those that perpetrated that
these two
were
events
taking
back to back.
It was just
Blessings,
too
you were going to
close.
say something.
Yeah, so I remember I was young when the Alu 4 thing happened, and it took me so much time to get over that story. Like, I made the mistake of viewing, I think I saw the video and stuff, and it really affected me. And this whole thing gets me thinking. I do not exactly blame this on the rage or blame it on the videos or, the aggression that we see around us. I am very sure that what happened in China, even if it's going to repeat itself, will take time because those people were sentenced to death. But how many times do we hear these kind of things happen and then we hear the punishment that follows it?
Yes.
The lady that was bullied and beaten by her classmate, have we heard anything about it?
Yeah.
We heard, I won't rest until the school is brought to
Yes.
book, the expulsion is not enough. But there's a way money is a silencer in our in our community, that in no time the story is off, and because our attention span is really
very
short.
We
don't really pay attention. We have a lot of people agitating, the fuel scarcity, this, that, any little thing we're protesting, women rights, that's beautiful. But bullying, we do not say anything much about it. We only come on social media, this is bad, justice for this, justice for that, and then it just put a pinch of, the person has been expelled and expelled, and then something else will be done, and we don't hear anything, and we don't say anything. The more we keep quiet, the worse it gets.
And if something is not done, when I say something that will really be a change maker, a game changer, whatever phrase we want to use, this will automatically repeat itself. Maybe not in that environment anymore. It will move somewhere else. Because it's already becoming such a global phenomenon. Global in the sense that it happened in China. And we're talking about it and we're like, oh my God, wow, 14-year-olds. I think this has happened. A young girl was raped in that same university.
What are we even saying, Catherine?
Now, this is what we know. Yeah. Now, this has happened this is just 2 days ago.
Do you know that online now, if you type gory stories of children beating violently, they are so accessible within the fingertips. I know that a lot of people will come for me, but it's high time that we regulate social media. And even there are some operating words you can't search, like ways to commit suicide. Like there's a way they can do this thing.
The fact that these people
you can't even access such.
The fact that these people see the need to make these videos while they do these things is despicable. And most times we talk about, I know that there are certain punishments that can be meted that might seem a little too harsh or too much. The other time they're talking about castrating sex offenders and pedophiles and child molesters, and you see a lot of lawyers and all that will come out, activists that that's a lot, that's too much of a punishment. When we keep dialing down the punishment and trying to humanize, we are all humans, we can make mistakes.
Yes, we will hear these things. We will hear parents say, we want to douse this matter. We don't want the matter to escalate. Let it escalate. It is time for it to escalate.
He's the only child of his mother.
If it were you, and I keep telling people out there, when people are quick to say, but let's take it easy, let's allow the judge. If it were you that this is your only child, tell me you won't be seeing red.
It's crazy because I cannot even talk, because looking at those children that did this, not only do I want...
They were filming it, Lord.
They need they need psychiatry.
And they filmed it.
Yes.
Listen.
It's crazy because, my problem. My problem is with the society. If you want to see what is in people's hearts, go to the comment section. When that thing with that young lady happened, I saw in the comments and people were like, this is why you should not be a melancholy, a bit meticulous. What do they call that? You have to be sanguine. You need to be able to stand up for yourself. Okay, what if I can't? Now that you will see comments like, why did he steal? Is that what we're talking about? There are punishments that you can give someone who steals.
Yes.
Heck, you can expel
They can even expel him for stealing the phone. The parents can take him home and rehabilitate him.
But you see, so one of my issues, you were talking about, we don't hear anything after this. I think that, there's a lot that the media has to also take responsibility for.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah.
Because if it is in your face, right? If the reportage is in your face, if you're hearing it everywhere you turn, you're seeing it. Yes. It's playing on TV, it's playing on social media, it's playing in the radio. Yeah. We're following the story to get to a conclusive end. Yeah. I think if we had more, but as you said, so much happens within the 24 hours. Like, there's only so much you can follow. Yeah. And then do they even have the resources to follow them as well? But there is a huge responsibility that they have, I think, to be able to follow stories to the end.
I honestly agree with Buki. I mean, that's the whole essence of investigative journalism. That's the whole essence of, human angle stories, even feature stories on these things. Because it's okay to report on something, let people know that it's happening, but you also owe people the follow-up. Like, okay, what eventually happens to this person? Because 10 years down the line, you're hearing, that person just got bullied. And the worst part is we parade them in front of, because now that's another bad culture that we have. We parade the victims as well. You see a child that was molested, you parade bullied her, and so you destroy her self-esteem. The event itself has affected her own psychology, and then the fact that there is no justice also goes ahead to affect her in the future. And then you see that this child grows up to become a molester herself, and then you're asking what went wrong.
It doesn't make any sense that something that happened, remember the Alufo, it has stayed in. Alufo was so traumatic.
No, it was horrible.
Blessings even said how it affected her when she was growing up.
It was horrible.
We that saw it live, 4 young, promising guys, their life just snuffed
But you
out
know
like that.
what?
And
These
that was then. We didn't think
Another
that it was
thing
something that was going
is
to repeat itself.
parents. I look at it, I said, a lot of times we talk about the victims of all these things. How about the parents of the children that abuse people? You know, that's another thing with it, because when you talk about it, everybody just talks about the victim, forgetting that some people are the parents of these boys that beat someone to this extent.
The parents always...
you will come now and these parents will take
carpet.
these children, they will send them abroad. They will make sure that they are no longer within, and they think that they are helping.
Perpetuating their
But they have
fraud.
only endorsed their children's evil.
And
if this is my child, you will serve that punishment. Because if you do not allow them to know the consequence, someone died in the process.
And if they don't like,
we are raising children that have no empathy. One of them would have called their dad, and the dad would say, "No, were you there? Did you strangle him? He died. He was from other causes.
He stole.
Before you know what."
And I won't lie, I agree that social media has played a part in, would I say, euphemizing the situation, in the sense that when the Alu story happened, it was a big story. It was horrible. But now something similar is happening, and we're just making it look like it's just another day event. It's sad, but it has happened. We just need to do something about it. So now people are like getting used to the idea that, oh, these things happen, which is wrong.
That's cool, first of all.
We want to know. We want to. It's important for us to know what happens at the end of these stories.
Because a school like this, first of all, that university should be shut down. First of all, as in, let's put off the TV there. Let's just off it. First of all, so we know exactly what we're doing. Because these are lives at stake. You can take them to the police command and something, and then tomorrow, that will be the end of it. We will not, trust me when I say, that we will not, this thing of saying, taking a story, seeing a story to the end. Ça ne va pas arriver dans cette situation. Non.
On that note, we have to call it a wrap on today's show. There's so much that has happened, and I don't want to say that there's not enough time to talk about them all. But the conversations are happening. Be a part of the conversations wherever you are. Make sure that you're following us on News Central TV, and make sure that you are using the hashtag Jasiri to keep tabs on the conversation, so we know that you're watching. And in the same breath, don't forget that the Lush giveaway is on now, and we will be announcing our winners in the days to come. Make sure that you're following following News Central TV, and also following Lush on Instagram and Twitter. You need to post a comment on the first snippet of today's show saying why you love Jasiri to qualify for the prize. Yes. But yes, it is a somber moment in the studio this morning. Reflecting on what's happened. We'll be back same time again tomorrow at 10 a.m. West African time to bring you more stories on Jasiri. From us and the ladies on the table, it's goodbye.